Hello, everyone. Welcome to First Year Teaching Tips. This video series is dedicated to helping any teacher who is in their first year of teaching or in their first year in a new role. Veteran teachers are welcome as well. With that being said, let's begin. So, who am I? My name is Mia, and I am, as of the recording of this video, an 11-year veteran in education. I worked as a high school social science teacher in public and private schools, and currently work as an instructional technology specialist in a public district. When I began teaching, the landscape of education looked very different. However, I have found that there are some tips, tricks, and other bits of information I wish I had known when starting my career. Some of this advice comes from my own experiences, and some of it comes from what others have taught me. So let's dive into this video's tips about building self-resilience. Tip number 1, building self-resilience takes time. Whether one calls it self-resilience, grit, confidence, or knowing one's own worth, this process takes time. When starting a career in education, there are many doubts and anxieties that can plague new educators or those who have changed roles. This video will cover some ways to build one's own self-resilience, but it is important to be aware that doing so will take time. As an educator gains more experiences, that helps build their sense of self and confidence in their occupation. Just like any skill, the more it is practiced, the more it feels natural. Tip number 2, keep a fuzzy folder or a list of wins. One of my colleagues told me about the fuzzy folder when I was just starting a new job. A fuzzy folder is where you keep all items or notes that make you feel warm and fuzzy inside. Another way to think of it is as a list of wins. On days when work seems hard, look at that folder or list to boost your spirits. This can be a physical or digital item. Even now, I have an email label called Appreciation Reminders. On days when I am not feeling my best, I look through them to remember how I have succeeded in the past. Tip number 3, before going to sleep, end each day by noting one good action. This personal practice of mine is one that always helps me go to bed in a better frame of mind. When I first started my career, I would go to bed exhausted, thinking about how much grading I had to do or what other tasks I had to complete the next day. Now I think of one good action I did instead. This action can be as grand as I helped a student make an epiphany, to as small as I made copies for another teacher and helped them with their workload. I'm not saying this is magically going to change the struggles new educators face. However, by ending the day with a positive thought, it is easier to begin the next one with renewed energy. Tip number 4, there are always going to be tasks that can be done better, so keep perspective on what has been done well in the past. What I really wanted to put for this tip is a quote from Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. There is always a bigger fish. Please wait and hear me out about why I made this reference, despite people's varying opinions about Star Wars. Full disclaimer, The Phantom Menace was my first Star Wars movie I was able to see in theaters, so there is some nostalgia present. But this quote stuck with me for a reason. There are going to be times when, as a new educator, you're going to see what someone else is doing and think you aren't doing enough. In those moments, I would remember that quote from Star Wars: there is always a bigger fish. To me, this quote would help ground me and remind me that there will always be someone who seems to have a better classroom management system, more exciting lessons, or fantastic activities. When faced with that moment, it is important to keep perspective and remember what you are doing well. Think of the bigger fish as an opportunity to emulate the other individual as much as possible. Behind that bigger fish is most likely a lot of work that you haven't seen. So use what they offer and remember, where you are right now is not where you will be in the future. You might not know it, but you are probably someone else's bigger fish, the person who knows more about a feature in education or seems to have newer, more exciting ideas. Teaching means continually learning. Tip number 5, There will come a time when your priorities change in your life, and that is okay. When I started teaching, my priority was focused solely on my classroom and students. Every day was focused on doing everything I could to make my school, wherever I was working, be a better place. This type of attitude is admirable, to be sure, but is not sustainable for a lifetime, in my opinion. As I gained more experience in education, I found that some of the tasks I completed didn't fulfill me the same way they had when I first started my career. This change in my feelings felt wrong. I felt like I wasn't being a good educator. I thought if I didn't put in 110% every day, I must be failing my school community. However, as I formed new bonds and met new people, I came to the realization I could put in not as much effort, but still do a good job. I don't know when the shift fully occurred for me. It was more of an ongoing process than one moment where I realized I had to take care of myself and those in my life as much as I took care of my job. I'm certain that the COVID-19 pandemic probably was part of this shift, but there were other events in my life that changed my priorities as well. Now, my self-worth is not so inherently tied to my position. I can go home or take a day off and close the door on my work, metaphorically speaking, if only for a little while. In today's education landscape, that is so hard to do. There is an idea I've seen online that may encapsulate what I am trying to express. Just because someone has your communication app doesn't mean you are obligated to respond right away. Work is always going to be a part of your life. However, the people you love may not be a part of your life forever. I think achieving this view of priorities shifting can be healthy. I don't have an exact method of how to do this, but I hope if you are watching this video that you know there is someone out there telling you it is okay. It is okay to focus on other tasks, other people in your life, or yourself. When you do not feel guilty about focusing on other aspects of your life instead of your job, I think that is the true marker that you have built self-resilience for yourself. Thank you for watching this video. If you feel like you need more information about building self-resilience, please go back to my very first video in the first year teaching tips series, General Tips. There are a lot of ideas in that video that can be applied to building self-resilience. If you are interested in learning more, please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also go to my website, www.guidegrowtech.com, for even more information on a variety of topics. Finally, I hope this video helped you grow in your knowledge of this topic. Take care.